welcome everybody. This is the Academy of Adoption and Assisted Reproduction Attorneys. And this is our series where we go through the different states for assisted reproductive technology law and introduce you to our fellows in those states and go over some of the basics of the law. You'll of course need to reach out to any of these fellows to get in-depth information on the law in their states. But today we are talking to Ashley Pittman with the state of Mississippi. And can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Yeah, so I'm Ashley Pittman. I practice all areas of fertility law in Mississippi. Licensed here, gosh, for a long, long time. Started in estate planning. I've been doing this fertility law exclusively since about 2011, and I love it.
I think that says a lot. You've been doing it exclusively since 2011 in Mississippi. I think there's some belief that maybe there's not as much. I mean, we only have one fellow, so but you've been doing it for a long time exclusively.
Absolutely. And so when I first started in this area, getting in touch with, the agencies and, giving them a comfort level that we can get it done here and we can determine parentage and we do, everything here, even though we don't necessarily have law that other states do because we just follow the model, right? And so it works. And we have a family court here that is called a chancery court, and it handles only family law cases. And that has made it easier for me because the chancery court is a court of equity, which means that if it makes sense to the chancellor and everyone agrees and everyone is represented by legal counsel, then it's wonderful. And why are they to say anything
Right.
else, right? So that has helped a lot. And so yeah, we started with just a model from other states and went from there, and the practice has grown. And right, the message is, even though we don't technically have law, a lot of states started out with no law and progressed into a legal model for it. So yeah.
With different categories of people, I know our website gets used a lot in terms of people going through states. So should there be any concern if they're a single intended parent or if, for example, they're using a completely donated embryo and don't have a genetic link to the embryo?
So the lack of a genetic link has never been distinguished. So it is perfectly fine to have donor gametes. We do not differentiate non-bio parents from bio-intended parents, and so that's not an issue at all. Also, we loosely follow the adoption statute in Mississippi because that's the closest that we have to a surrogacy statute. And so single intended parents can adopt in Mississippi, and therefore single intended parents are considered perfectly valid as, the intended parents in a surrogacy arrangement. And then so also married couples in the same vein can adopt in Mississippi, and therefore we prefer that they're married. Obviously, there's nothing on the books that says they have to be in a surrogacy arrangement, but we prefer that they're married, and that's for kind of a lot of reasons. A divorce down the line, it would be a little stickier. So it is preferred that they're married. We don't differentiate between hetero couples and same-sex couples. That's never been an issue. It's never been a problem.
So you're following all the basic rules that other states are following. You have a contract before she's pregnant, before medications, I assume. And then
Right.
the parentage, are you working with them on parentage before the birth of the child or after?
Before the birth of the child.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So we're following that model. Both sides are represented by independent legal counsel during the contract phase, and then they proceed with the IVF process, the transfer of the embryo. Once a pregnancy is achieved, the attorneys jump back in and both sides are again represented. And I structure my court pleadings and court documents as a joint petition that everyone signs off on and an agreed order that everyone signs off on. And here again, back to the Chancery Court, if everyone's represented by counsel, everyone's in agreement, we have no problems.
So one of the questions people ask all the time is how fast is that process, or how slow is it? Some states it's how slow is the question, but
Right, right. So I like to get started around, I like to know of the pregnancy, in the first trimester. The beginning of the second trimester, I like to circulate the petition and the order for signatures. Sometimes because they require a notary, that takes a moment. And then usually within 8 weeks, there's one procedural summons that I have to serve, so that takes just a moment. But otherwise, it really is a fast process. My clients do not have to appear in court, which is really nice with international
yeah.
clients because it's harder for them. They usually come right before the birth. And so we don't have to physically appear. I do, but they don't have to physically appear, and they don't have to be available by Zoom for any sort of testimony. It's just very simple. So that I joke with my clients, the hardest thing that you have to do is find a notary.
Right. Which
Yeah.
can be difficult for some,
Yeah,
but
right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
all right. And then what about how efficient is your vital records, or whatever you call your office, for birth certificates after the birth?
Well, I'm kind of proud to say because, Mississippi has its drawbacks, but it's kind of a small state where people know each other. So I have a wonderful contact within birth records at Vital Statistics, and I tell all of my clients to please direct the application for birth certificate from the hospital directly to her. And she turns them around. She handles all of my surrogacy cases, and she turns them around within the week.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I like to
again,
hear.
great for
Yeah,
international
lovely.
clients so that
Great.
they can get the passport and they can proceed with getting the baby back to their home country.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, wonderful. Well, obviously, I mean, unfortunately, we need to enroll some more attorneys into the academy in Mississippi, but at the same time, we've got you. And so, if anybody is looking to get the contact information for Ashley, when you go to the academy's website, which is probably how you got to this video, but the website is adoptionart.org. And you go to our state map and you can go to Mississippi, and underneath that, you're going to find her contact information. And highly recommend that you reach out to her. We're proud of our fellows. We're proud of the fact that we're vetted, and there's nobody better to go to. Is there any final comments you want to make about Mississippi for everybody?
We are more surrogacy friendly than you may think.
There you go. It's a good comment. All right,
Yeah.
my friends. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Kim.